Vanco Outdoor Equipment, your local Mahindra tractor dealer in Henderson.
American crafted, veteran owned, seeing your dreams come to life. Red 22 Carpentry, which stands for Remember Everyone Deployed, is veteran owned and operated. Contact Aaron today at 919-495-8580. See how they can make your dream of outdoor living space come to life. Have an idea about your bathroom remodel? Make your dreams come to life with Red 22 Carpentry. Make sure to follow them on Facebook today for updated specials. 919-495-8580. That's Red 22 Carpentry. 919-495-8580. The family-owned business of Edwards Body Shop, located at 2022 NC 39 South of Henderson, has you covered with free estimate, insurance claims, diagnostic testing, and so much more. You tried the rest, now try the best. Edwards Body Shop has been locally owned for 30 plus years. Contact Edwards Body Shop today at 252-438-7900. You tried the rest, now it's time to try the best. Edwards Body Shop, located at 2022 NC 39 South in Henderson, 252-438-7900. It's time for local talk here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Nextdoor Radio app. Local talk here on Nextdoor Radio, nextdoorradio.com, and the Nextdoor Radio app. My name is Trace Knott. Thanks so much for tuning in here this morning. We are live Monday through Friday, beginning at 10 a.m. It's Friday, which means Miss Kelly Seifert Applied Behavioral Happiness joins us here on one of our local talk. How are you today?
I am so well. Good to see you.
Good to see you. I appreciate you for once again coming into the radio station here today. Let's kind of go ahead and do our quick little 30-second infomercial if you can.
Absolutely. So I'm Kelly Seifert, the owner of Applied Behavioral Happiness. I specialize in working with kids who have behavioral challenges, everything from tantrums and meltdowns to behaviors associated with trauma and major fears.
And of course, we welcome for the very first time Miss Kelsey Edwards, our outside sales representative. I kind of forced her onto the show today.
I am great.
We appreciate you for tuning in or coming in as well. Phone number is 968-9258, 919-618-9258. So really our topic for today is multiple kids, multiple conversations, multiple things to do, and all that, which is a couple kids or 2, 3, 4, however you got. Let's kind of dive in, kind of go through and give us some tips and some conversation to have if one of those two kids are fighting or having a conversation in between that aspect of it.
Certainly. So there's a couple of different things to consider here. And one is one that I really love that I heard from another behavior specialist named Diane. I've got her on my Tantrums and Meltdowns course. She talks about coming into those situations and observing what's happening out loud. I see two kids who want to play with the same toy. And just pausing there. Then we can start talking about like, okay, is this genuinely what I'm seeing? So I'm not coming in and saying, stop, let's make sure that I'm seeing what's actually happening. And then from that step, okay, how can we work through this together? What sort of solutions can we put forward? Is that going to be perfect every time? Absolutely not. But it's a great place to start. And it starts to open that, what are we genuinely seeing here, instead of that big emotional just, well, they're wrong, you're wrong, back and forth that can start going.
So obviously, most of our listeners know I have one child who is a 5-year-old boy, and it's all boy. He is rocking around. He keeps him busy. Of course, Miss Kelsey, you have 3.
Yes.
2 years and 1, but you said, what, 5 months?
5 months, almost 4, and almost 8.
Wow. I mean, so you obviously have with this situation, you see a lot more than I do.
Every day. Every single day.
So with you, are you seeing a change? Are you seeing kind of a, difference in why they're growing up a little bit?
Yes, they didn't really fight much when Riley was like 5, and then Decker was, how old was Decker when Riley was 5? Maybe 1 or 2. They got more along then, but now that the older Decker's gotten almost about to be 4 and Riley about to be 8, it's I'm gonna butt heads every single day about every little bitty thing. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
And I can see you shaking your head over here. Said, I see this constantly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And this, when you're talking about, if we get to a point where it's like, holy smokes, we need support. This is so much back and forth. Like, this is either at a level that's dangerous, or it's constant, or it's lasting a really long time, or it's getting in the way of us being able to do things. For example, we can't go out as a family, or the last time we tried to go on vacation, it was miserable. what we're looking at there is one of the hardest things to be able to treat. If you look at all the research, that sibling dynamic, when there's a lot of challenge there, can be really, really difficult. And looking at that like 4-year-old age, that's often the age of I'm ready to do it myself. No one help me. Also, no one acknowledge that I can't do it. Or I'm going to be really upset. Or I can do as much as my older sibling can. And that can get into a lot of power play, which I'm sure you're already seeing.
All the time.
So I want to play off the vacation aspect of the beginning of that segment there, because I tell people all the time, I will not go to Disney World with my 5-year-old right now because I don't want to be stressed out the whole time. But 2, I don't want to spend all of that money and be stressed out. And so when you have multiple kids aspect of it, talk about what kind of conversation should you have? What are you looking for? Either should you go or should you wait for a particular year to go?
So as far as like the Disneyland example, there is a ton of sensory input. So part of what you're going to be considering here is, can my child handle high sensory input times? Are we able to recognize when we're starting to have too much input, we need to take a break? And how are we going to plan to be able to take those breaks without running into the fear of missing out, good old FOMO? Because that can create this circle of I'm overstimulated and I don't want to take a break. And now I'm really, really melting down. So some things to consider here, I don't think would be the magic year to go, but rather where you feel comfortable in your skills and your stress level to go through that situation, knowing how your child does in high stimulation situations. When you have multiples, it's going to be even more important that you're going over what are the expectations. If one person needs a break, what does that look like? Let's practice that outside of the situation so it doesn't become, oh, so-and-so is having a meltdown and now I'm losing everything. And now we've got 2 kids with a meltdown. And then, of course, third's going to go off next.
That stresses me out.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about. But if we're practicing outside of the situation, just like we've talked about before with the sports metaphor, don't practice at the Super Bowl. Practice on the field. Get that ahead of time. Practice those, taking breaks and those different things. Do our best to make it a positive experience and not a way that we're missing out, but rather a step and a part of the experience itself. Like this is a part of our regular schedule, so it's not something new. Then we're going to be able to go into those higher input situations, already having the skills we need to be able to work through those more difficult moments.
And so most people know, we've had a conversation before, the stress level, I can take a lot of things. But when I ask you not to run in front of a car and you're going to get hurt, then my stress starts to kind of go up a little bit more. I mean, so as a parent, let's go right. How do you control that? Can you control it? Is there a process or is there steps you kind of follow?
A couple things to consider is the difference between no and hard no. So no, you can't have ice cream for dinner, but we can have it for dessert. Or no, we can't go to Disneyland. We're going next week. It's not a no forever. No, you can't run in front of a car is a hard no, an absolute no. And making sure that you delineate that and how you're communicating is going to make that hard no have meaning. Because if it's no, but if I ask a couple more times, I might get it. There's a lot of things that fall under that, and that's okay. But there's some things that absolutely don't. So using a different word, for example, some kids will teach, like freeze means you have to stop, period. There is no question or anything if I say freeze, you got to stop. And if we teach that separately as a different direction than just no or hey, slow down or stop, please, those sorts of things where we've got the absolute now, we've got to quit movement right now. We have to stop that. That cannot happen. What we do is we take that negotiating, which is a good skill, and we take it out of the dangerous situations. And again, we got to teach this when things are calm. We've got to teach it when we're outside of the situation. There's a number of different games that we can use to teach these sorts of skills. When we delineate those 2 types of no, we know when we say that second one, the absolutely must stop, it's going to mean something. We don't have that thought of, holy smokes, what if they don't? Which is really where the stress comes from. If we know we can say, freeze, and they're genuinely going to stop 99.9% of the time, our stress is going to go way down.
KSF enjoys us here by way of our live in studio. If you're watching by way of our social media or our website, nextdoorradio.com, we appreciate you. Or by our app available by Google and Apple Store. Of course, you had the pleasure of going to Great Wolf Lodge with yours. Did all 3 of them go?
No, only 2. We took Decker and Riley. We kept the baby with my husband's mom, because we were like, it was for their birthday and we wanted to focus just on those two instead of all three. Because if we would have took the baby, I would have been with the baby more.
Mhm.
And then both of them wouldn't have been able to ride everything that they wanted to ride separately because it would have only been one parent. So it was just us 4 instead of 5 of us. And it made a difference because last year when we went, I was pregnant and I couldn't do anything. So it was Nathan having to do everything with rides instead of it being equal. And Decker was too short for most of the rides anyway. So he didn't do much but play in the small pool and stuff like that. But I could see a difference in if we would have took Beckham and us not bringing Beckham,
Mm.
because that would have been terrible.
Yeah, and that thinking ahead, that change in the dynamic, recognizing, okay, here's our values in general. We've got our values as a family. For this birthday celebration, these are the ones that are most applicable, and how do we make sure we're acting on those? And sometimes that means, okay, this is going to be 2 kiddos, and one's going to be able to stay somewhere else, so that we've got everybody taken care of in the best way, and you're acting out the values of your family in the best way in that specific situation, because this can be contextual. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Good.
Again, this is our local talk program, Behavioral 911 with Kelly Slaff and Applied Behavior Happiness. This part of our conversation where we kind of highlight you and what you have going on at the farm. How's everything going on?
Oh my goodness, we've got 2 little bunny nests full of baby bunnies. We've got 7 in one and I believe 8 in the other, tiny little wiggly buns. It's been so much fun to have kids there to talk about how we can be gentle with things and how things grow, talking about the circle of life and all those pieces along the way. Things are going really well out
It's
there.
going good. You love being on the farm, eh?
Absolutely, absolutely. Especially with all the spring flowers coming out. There's a bunch of different edible things that are coming out right now that it's been so much fun to explore with kids.
There you
I
go.
had 3 kids yesterday want to try fresh asparagus. Snapped it off the ground, snapped a piece off, took a bite.
They like it.
All but one.
Really?
All but one asked for seconds. And then we're so excited to share with their parents. We got to take a piece to mom. We got to take a piece to mom.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just a magical sort of place that allows you to just, it's so much different than the dinner table where there can be so much pressure to try foods and things. Just coming out and being like, this is crazy cool.
Yeah.
It opens a lot of kids up to, might as well try it. And don't have that preconceived, I don't like this.
I need some charcoal, some sea salt. Then I'm ready to go. I can grill it. That's about it. I
I
can't.
want it straight from the
No
ground.
fresh. No, that's like sushi. It's like swimming in your mouth. I can't do it.
Ugh.
I can't eat sushi. I can't do it.
I don't eat sushi at all.
See, I'm the same way.
Ugh.
I'll take care of it for y'all.
My wife loves it. Of course, at the hub, they have sushi night, which is there. It's extremely busy over there. for
Always.
sushi. Always, right?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm good. No offense to sushi night.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
We'll just continue working. Again, Kelly Slaff and Applied Behavior Happiness. This is Behavioral 911. This is Kelsey Edwards. Thank you for joining us.
Of course.
First local talk video. We appreciate you. How can they get a hold of you? What's the best contact, best website? How do they get a hold of you?
Absolutely. You can go to appliedbehavioralhappiness.com. Any of the red request appointment buttons, you can schedule a free 30-minute call with me, or you can call the office 984-235-1058.
Fantastic. Well, appreciate you. God bless you. And have fun driving back to the farm. Okay.
Thank you so
There
much.
you go. Until next time, my name is Trace Knight on behalf of Local Talk. We'll see you later.